This week I want to share with you a call you will get, absolutely will get, from a potential client sooner or later as a private investigator. Hi, this is Larry Kaye with ShadowAnyone.com, and I'm the creator of the Investigator's Ultimate Guide series, which is premium private investigator training from someone who's been there and done that. Again, as so many times this falls into the been there, done that category. I'm not someone who's just read a lot about this or cobbled together some PDF files and try to sell it as some kind of online course. I've done this and made my full-time living for years. 9 years I owned and ran my own private investigation company. And I take the things that I learned there firsthand and share them here with you. As you know, I do that every week. If you go over to ShadowAnyone.com, every week there's a new video, a new blog posting, teaching you, training you, giving you something. And so this week I want to share with you one of those calls that it comes, I don't know, maybe once a year or so, depending on how many different calls you get. But it's usually from a woman. She suspects her husband of cheating. And as you talk to her on the phone, she will eventually say, these words are what you're going to hear. Well, he works odd hours and he's very alert of his surroundings. Now, when you hear that phrase and it flips, I've done it enough that I know it can also be, he's very aware of his surroundings and he works odd hours. Either one of those, the very next thing I'll ask the client, the potential client, I'll say, is he a police officer? And they kind of pause for a moment and they're surprised. They say, yes, he is. That phrase, that he's alert of his surroundings and he works odd hours, only time I hear people say that to me is when it's a wife calling to check on her cop husband. Now, I share that with you only because she was not going to tell me that. This is not something that was going to come up in the normal course of our conversation. She could hire me and I would go into it blind to that information. For some reason, either she's afraid that it's going to scare me off or something. Women just do not tell you up front that the person they're having you follow is a police officer. Super dangerous for a variety of reasons. Not because cops are any harder to follow than anybody else. They're human. They're doing a hard job. I got tons of respect for them. But the reason it's dangerous is because if a cop realizes he's being followed, the consequences for you are much more significant, and they will call him back up and they will do a straight up full-on felony stop on you. Not just the, hey, get behind him, and when he fails to use his turn signal, light him up and get a field interview card. They will do a straight up multiple vehicle, multiple officer felony stop where you're going to find yourself on the ground, spread out, and handcuffed before anything else goes on. Fortunately, I've managed to avoid that by, number one, having that heads up that I know I'm following a police officer, just exactly because of that key phrase I taught you. Make sure you're aware and listening for it. But number two, because, honestly, I know what I'm doing on surveillances, and it's the type of stuff that I teach in the Investigator's Ultimate Guide to Surveillance. The whole value of that course, number one, is to learn surveillance well. But number two, if you can go through your career and just avoid one single time of getting burned, that's worth it all right there. If you've ever been burned on surveillance, it's the worst feeling there is in this industry. And you would do anything or pay anything to undo the few moments that you made that mistake or that whatever happened. So, the Investigator's Ultimate Guide to Surveillance is a pittance to pay, even if it only saves you from being burned once. So again, I just want to share that with you. As you know, I've got a free report over there at ShadowAnyone.com. Be sure to snag that, and that will put you in a queue to get lots of free tips that I give out only via email, and just do not tip here for free in the online videos. Be sure to check it out over at ShadowAnyone.com. This is Larry Kaye with ShadowAnyone.com. Remember, do the right thing, even if it's the hard thing.